going on, everybody? It's another week. That means it's another flashback fucking episode, contusion, whatever the hell these are,
What did
featuring
we decide
myself
the
and
name
Todd.
was?
I don't know, man. Somebody in the chat last week said flashback friends, and I'm like, friends forever, because we
Oh,
were
that's right. Yeah.
I don't know, something really cheesy though, but for now we'll just call it a
Let's call it
flashback
Cool
episode.
School.
Cool School flashback chat. So it's another week for that. Today is Tuesday. Last week we did our Thanksgiving episode, which that's now posted as of a day or two ago for everybody. And if you guys aren't familiar, we stream these every week at 8 p.m. Central Time, and then a slightly abridged version will go up the following week in the form of a video on YouTube and whatnot. But we're live on YouTube as well as twitch.tv/Revival House. I'm going to remind everybody to please like the video, leave a comment, help us out with the algos while the stream is going on. I would even suggest Todd do the same thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show that I mean what I say. I walk the walk and I talk the talk. I'm going to like my own fucking stream, man. I don't
I
give a
already
shit.
did, man.
Oh, you did? Well, I'm going
Yeah.
to do it real quick. But anyway, if this is your first time here, what we do is we usually just pick a topic to chat about, something to do with our upbringing, with our childhood, our friendship, whatever, something rooted in nostalgia. Before we do that, we talk about what's new. We shoot the breeze, maybe talk about some new acquisitions, new movies, new records, whatever. Just kind of generally shoot the breeze and see how we are. This week, though, we are going to tackle a tier list in the second half of this stream. We felt it fitting because yesterday Metallica dropped a new song, a new album release date with details, and a new tour and all that stuff. So naturally, the collective music interweb lost their shit, because that's the way it always is. People can hate on Metallica. They all love it when they release a new song, because it's their bread and butter, all these websites. Everybody's curious.
Yeah.
Everybody has to know. Even if you haven't liked something in 30 years, you want to listen to it, because I don't know, either you want to maybe be proven wrong, or you just want something to bitch about. And I think people love to shit on stuff too. But anyway.
It's like Taylor Swift, either love her or hate her.
Oh, I hate her. Well, I don't hate. I don't hate a lot of stuff. Well, I mean, like, I hate's a strong word, man. I think she's overrated. I don't understand it personally.
Yeah, I
and even if it's not my type of music, like, there's a lot of artists and stuff where I can understand what the appeal. I don't understand Taylor Swift. Is there something special about her songs?
I have no clue. I was thinking the same thing.
I don't understand it. But anyway, that also scares me, by the way, because Ticketmaster was news in the past couple of weeks because all that Taylor Swift hoopla with her tour, and for them not meeting demand. It was impossible for regular Swifties to get tickets because they all sold out in the first pre-order. They didn't even have any they canceled the on sale public sale.
Oh, so they just scalped them, or they sent them to third parties?
Well, that's what. So when these pre-sales go on, or when the tickets go on sale, yeah, it's either people like me or you buying up as many as we can and scalping them, or it's people that have bots set up, to buy them and stuff. And a part of it too is it's just Ticketmaster, Live Nation. They have backdoor deals with your SeatGeeks and your StubHubs, right? So, like, let's say a venue like Taylor Swift, she's playing stadiums. If it has 50,000 seats, before anybody in the public can see any of those tickets, before anything goes on sale, they've already got like 10,000 set aside for StubHub. They've already got 10,000 set aside for SeatGeek. You know what I mean? Like, there's already tickets that are spoken for. That's why when you instantly go on there, it's all verified resellers. There's already so many, and they're all inflated prices. And now they have the whole dynamic ticket pricing they introduced, or basically the tickets will just naturally fluctuate based on demand. It's fucked.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, so it's really a shit show. And the fact that the government allowed Ticketmaster and Live Nation to merge however many years ago it was, I don't know if it was a decade ago or however long it was, is a criminal, because it's a total monopoly and it squeaks by.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You have Ticketmaster, they're the number one ticket retailer, and you have Live Nation, which they're the number one concert promoter, right? And Live Nation, they own they owned most of the venues back in the day, but even since the merger, they've gone through and just purchased and consumed all the smaller venues, locally owned, independently owned, whatever. So Live Nation owns like 95% of all music venues, and then you have Ticketmaster selling the tickets. It's just it's really crooked. And then they have this whole arrangement they do with all these verified second marketplace sellers sites like SeatGeek and whatever and StubHub that are just scalping. It's like legal loophole scalping, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it needs to be stopped, dude, because going to concerts, or at least obtaining tickets to concerts, has not been fun in a very long time. It's really ruined the experience for a lot of people. And for me, it's been this way for a good decade. If I can't get tickets during a pre-sale and I can't get them for face value, I'm not going. And your only chance at getting stuff for face value is typically during a pre-sale, because a
Yeah.
pre-sale is going to be just one extra hurdle for a scalper or a bot to get ahead of you. So in this case, like tomorrow, the pre-sale goes on sale for Metallica fan club members. Now, the fan club doesn't cost any money, so it's not like somebody like me or you that just wanted to be an opportunist. We could join the fan club, get the code, and do the whole. True, it's not really going to stop anybody, but an extra step or two, it does weed out some people. Now, I personally liked what happened with Guns N' Roses. At the time, I was kind of bitching about it, but when I wanted to get tickets for the last time I saw GNR, I had to get in. I wanted to get a fan club pre-sale because it was the first. They charged for their fan club. So I literally paid like 20, $25 for 1 month of their fan club and just canceled it so I could get access. But I kind of like it because that $25 paywall would probably just was, instantly weeded out people trying to scalp, right?
Well, they give you better seats too, right?
Well, I just want seats. I just want seats, period, at a
Oh.
fair cost. And anyway, but so I kind of like it. I kind of wish they would all do this weird paywall, even if it's just like $20. That's worth it to make it seamless. And because I think it did. I think it weeded out a lot of the potential people trying to scalp. Anyway, I guess it's a good time to segue in talking about it. But with all this stuff with Metallica and the new album, the new song, they announced their big tour, and it's kind of a big tour. It's kind of it's not so many dates because they're playing 2 nights in every show at every city to stop. So it's literally about half the dates as a normal tour would, but probably the same amount of shows. And how they're doing it, I have to say, is kind of BS, man. I'm not a big fan of it. It definitely it's cool for me because it works out for me. What they're doing is they're only selling 2-day tickets. And I've come to learn what's happening with it. I didn't really understand it at first, but you're buying 1 ticket, but it's good for 2 shows, right?
So
So,
just double the price.
well, supposedly it'll be a bundled price where it'll technically be cheaper than if you bought 2 single-day tickets. Now, they're going to have a limited number of single-day tickets on sale in January, but we all know there's going to be nothing available at face value in January.
Yeah.
Right? So already there, it kind of pressures fans to buy now, which kind of sucks. And they're even saying themselves, like, you should get your tickets now because it's gonna be a very limited number that goes on sale in January, and it'll be tough to get them. Okay, well, it's basically saying, hey, go buy. It's putting people into a corner to buy two tickets.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of questions asked, like, okay, well, if I have to buy 2 tickets, can I transfer or sell the other show if I don't want to go? No, you can't. You can just transfer all or none.
Jeez.
So basically, if I go to this concert and I'm sitting in seat 23, row G, on Friday night, I'm going to say bye to Frank next to me, and I'll be like, see you Sunday, because he's going to be sitting in that seat too on Sunday.
Jeez.
Because that's the way it works is if you buy a general admission ticket, you're going to have the same, it's applicable for both shows. You're buying one ticket. There's no mix and matching.
You're renting the seat for 2 days is what you're doing.
Well, and here's the problem. So for me, as a fan, it's cool. And for me, as somebody where it actually is going to work out if I can get tickets, it's awesome. So for me, I happen to be off weekends, and because it's an all weekend tour. It's only on weekends. For someone like me who works a regular 9 to 5 these days, that's great because I can't ever get weekend gigs anymore. But not to work waste weekend. I'd be fucked. And so now when it's an all or none thing, every concert is on a Friday and a Sunday, not a Friday, Saturday. So these dates are kind of like spread out. A lot of people are going to have to commute. That's another reason I'm lucky. They're playing 15 miles from my house. But if I had to travel to go to this, I have to take off multiple days because the shows
Yeah,
are on
I wouldn't
Friday
do
and
that.
Sunday. It's Friday and Sunday. So you have to account for a hotel on a Saturday too. Um, so it's kind of a clusterfuck, man. I just don't understand it. Part of me was trying to think, like, is this their way of maybe combating scalping? Because I wonder if it's going to make scalp. Because think about it. Is it going to make it harder for scalpers to actually invest because they're going to have to buy double tickets and they're going to have to bank on reselling these tickets to people that are going to be able to make all those dates? Because it's hard. You have a lot of people complaining that are like, well, first of all,
It's fan gouging, is what it is, Aaron.
so the thing is, you have two shows. The idea, quote unquote, is cool. Like I said, if you can actually wing it, because two unique sets each city, that's great. So, and at first I didn't understand it. I'm like, well, there's no way they're just not going to play the hits on each night. So maybe the set list will be different, except for like your Enter Sandmans and stuff like that. But no, if you're the same ass that's going to be in the same seat for both shows, one show could probably be all deep cuts and then one show can have your hits. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
everybody in those seats will have already seen you play Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, in a perfect world, if everybody can make this and you're a hardcore fan, it's actually really fucking cool. They're kind of doing what they were doing with the 40th anniversary thing where they did two new unique sets. But that was a special event that only the hardcores flew out to, one show. This is like the tour. And how many people are actually A, gonna want to go to two shows, B, can afford to go to two shows because they're forcing you to buy two show prices. And they're just making it hard. And even the people that want to do it and would love to pay it, they're just putting too much of a hurdle in front of people that can't get off that much time from work or can't travel for that long. I'm lucky it benefits me, but it's fucked. And I don't think it's really good. And also, you have not only two different set lists, you got different openers, right? And I'm sorry, Friday night's the better one. You got the Pantera reunion, which is also a big deal, which some Pantera fans are kind of pissed because they're like, is this the Pantera tour? Do we have to like have the Metallica paywall to see this reunion?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, I can't go see because there's no now only playing Friday and Sundays. That's it for this entire tour. And Pantera is playing Friday every day. So they're only playing one day a week. I would imagine if they're going to be touring and going around the country, they're not just going to go around the country for one day a week. I imagine they're going to map out a headlining tour around those Fridays, right? So, for example, you got Metallica Pantera stop on a Friday in St. Louis, which you do. I wouldn't be surprised if Thursday they're going to be playing Des Moines or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? It just seems feasible to me, but I don't know. But obviously, you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to know, like, well, think about it. What if somebody really wants to go see Pantera that bad to where they buy these tickets, just not knowing, like, well, I don't want to bank on them not doing a full. I don't want to just say, well, they're gonna announce more dates. I'll just wait. What if they don't? So what if somebody buys those tickets, then in like February they announce dates, and you're gonna be like, well, shit, I bought those fucking two.
That's what
The
they're
thing is
counting
like,
on.
well, I bet you $1 million there's probably legal contracts where they can't say that, right? Because it's part of the selling package for this Metallica tours. We got the Pantera guys on one day. So now you're going to attract not a lot. I mean, Metallica could play these stadiums alone. They don't really need the Pantera thing. But, Pantera, they're probably going to attract 1,000, 1,500 people if they're on a headline show. That may be what they're going to attract, possibly. But let's say that was going to attract 1,000 people at a stadium show. Let's say maybe. By the way, I don't necessarily think it's always going to translate to the Metallica audience. You're not necessarily going to bring the 1,000 people that would have bought a Pantera ticket. They're not necessarily going to all buy a Pantera opening for Metallica ticket. So it's not going to translate one to one. But I bet you $1 million, they might have something in the books where it's like, okay, you guys are going to have your dates. You can't announce it until like mid-January, because that's just going to take away from people that might buy these shows. There's probably something in there. I bet you it's probably protocol. But Trickopedia, what's up, man? He's saying people ripping on the WWE for doing 2 night, but at Mania you only have to buy one night, not both. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they always do that, and that's just feasible for them because what is it? Well, it's not even just Mania. Don't whenever they tour, it's always like a 2-for-1, right? You can get they'll have like Raw one night and it'll be SmackDown the next night, right? That's the
Yeah, I
way I've
think
always
so.
seen it here in Phoenix, and I don't know, but this is like I said, it's gonna be fine for me. It doesn't make sense for the bulk. I don't understand. And I don't know how it's going to work out, but it seems a little fucked. Um, I don't know what people are gonna do. So I'm of two minds about it. The first night you got what is it, Wolfgang, you got Mammoth W, whatever his fucking name is, WGA, whatever his name, Wolfgang's band, Wolfgang Van Halen. And I saw them over for GNR, and they're fine. And then you got the Pantera thing, and you got Metallica. Night 2 on a Sunday, Ice Nine Kills, who I saw them in Vegas open for Metallica. They're like a horror kind of metalcore band. Every song they do is based on a fucking movie or franchise, and they have like masks and stuff, and they're kind of like theatric. It's kind of cool, I guess. And then you have in the Pantera slot on Sundays, you have Five Finger Death Punch. Okay, so you have a lot of hardcore metal people that are going to be like, well, I don't want to go Sunday. I just want to go see Pantera. I want to go to Friday.
Yeah.
I don't want to go see Sunday. But I think those people are just like the odd minority because I think a lot of people are underestimating how popular Five Finger Death Punch is with certain crowds.
They are they are still pretty popular with some of those people.
They are. So the Pantera people are not going to be fans of Five Finger Death Punch because they're elitists. And so, of course, the
Pretty
Pantera
much.
fans would say, "Oh, who wants to go to Sunday?" But dude, fucking Five Finger Death Punch represents the butt rock section, and Metallica is the great bridge gapper, where you have people that are still into all like the really extreme metal that still love Metallica because they were the gateway. But then Metallica has a foot in the butt rock. All the people that like Five Finger Death Punch and Godsmack and Disturbed, Metallica. Jocks love Metallica. Heshers from the 80s love Metallica. That's why they're as big as they are. So I think they're going to do fine on both nights, I personally. But I just think it's a clusterfuck. I don't know what they were thinking. I wish I could talk to Lars right now and be like, what were you thinking? I had the guy, you let him get away. I wonder like what is their mindset? And like I said, I'm just
It's
trying
all
to
about
think.
money.
But they don't need to do that. So they don't need to do that. Their last stadium tour in 2016 sold out. Now,
Maybe they're just getting old. They don't want to travel.
Well, the thing is having 2 stops in each date. Like, I don't remember how many dates it is, but let's say in North America, it's 25 shows. Instead of 25 cities, different stadiums, you got 12 cities and 2 in each, right? So it definitely costs them less because that's just the less miles that their trucks run to set up the show. They can set up the show and they can leave it there for 3 days. That's less man hours, less power, less vehicle time. It's everything.
Well,
so it's definitely going to save them money.
It's funny because Garth Brooks came here and he played our arena and he sold out 4 different shows.
Yeah.
So four different days he was here. Or no, maybe he did back-to-back shows. So he did 4 in a 2-day span.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all sold out. It was crazy.
Oh, so he did 2 shows in one day? So
yes,
4 shows?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so he did like the 5 to 8 and then the 8 or whatever it is.
Really? So
yep.
That's, you're talking about the what used to be the Quest. What is it now? The Arena?
Yeah, I think it was actually down in Lincoln.
That's right. Yeah, I remember
the
when
new one, the new stadium.
Yeah, the Lincoln. So the Lincoln Arena, though, you got to imagine I would imagine it's around 15,000 people max.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So 4 shows, 30. That's about 60,000. That's what these stadiums are going to be. So I don't really know because for the first time ever, they're doing in the round in a stadium. They always do that in arenas, right? But for a stadium, they would always have their stage set up on the end cap, and then you can't sell the seats right behind the stage that are taking up all the shit. Now they're selling everything. So our stadium, when you have that traditional end cap, holds 50,000 sold out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's now 60 if you are putting it right in the middle of the stage and you open up that floor and you have everything around. So I'm really hoping I'm pleasantly surprised because I also think it's really shitty that people have to sweat bullets about trying to get tickets and then they don't even know how much they're going to pay. You wake up, you get in the queue, and you put on your sword and shield to see if you can get through and not crash. And then you fucking get hit with a price that's just like, what the fuck? And you
Yeah.
can't even afford it. It's shitty that they don't tell you what stuff, but now we have dynamic pricing. So how can you really even know? But I'm really hoping, I would think all these different factors go into ticket cost. One of the things that goes into factors is the show. If it's a huge production, they're going to factor that into the ticket price, like how expensive the show is. But I hope to God I'm pleasantly surprised, and they're like, "Well, we're saving money because we're playing 2 shows per city and we're not moving as much. Transport is a lot less." I'm hoping, I because that's got, you would think
Not gonna
hypothetically that
happen.
cuts costs in half. I'm hoping that I fully expect if I want GA, man, I'm
It's gonna be
expecting to pay
300
two.
a ticket.
I'm expecting to pay 250 minimum, and that's
Yeah.
4 tickets because I am forced to get. I have to get one for the lady, but I'm forced to buy for 2 nights. So,
Mhm.
and like I said, you can't even sell the ones you can't use. It's fucked. So I'm expecting to pay $1,000, and it hurts my
Oh.
soul. And
Oh my
I'm hoping,
god.
I want to go to both shows. So for me, I don't give a fuck. It's fine. But like for most people, dude,
Yeah.
I'm really hoping I'm pleasantly surprised. I hope if it's anything less than that, I'll be honestly surprised. And I'm considering with fees, like, dude, but
I'll be
at these
surprised if all
rates,
those sell though, man. I mean, people don't have the money to be spending $1,000 on tickets.
dude, I don't know, man. I think they'll sell. That
You do?
they, yeah. But it's an interesting experiment because
Hmm.
I don't think a band's ever done this before, where they're doing 2 nights in every single city, and it's a all or nothing type of situation. It's really unprecedented because if a band's lost seats in the first show, they'll add a second date due to popular demand. But that's
Yeah.
for the people that couldn't get tickets to the first show. This whole fucking all or nothing thing, it really seems like it caters to hardcores.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, because are you really gonna fill? You're gonna get 60,000 people that are willing to buy 2 tickets a piece and go to both shows and take like 3-4 days off work. Yeah, it does sound like a big ask, man. So I'm really curious how it's gonna go. Um, I don't know.
But you also
Here's
have
the
to
thing.
think about the demographic of people who actually listen to Metallica. So I would say now they're probably 60s and younger. Probably listen to Metallica. 60
That's a
to
pretty
maybe
big age. That's a pretty big
60 to
age.
maybe 30. No, maybe 20.
You're on crack, dude. They got such a huge boost from Stranger Things. They got all kinds of
You,
new 10-year-old
you
fans.
think so? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
huge, huge. Dude, they got a huge spike with Stranger Things. They were the big TikTok because they were on the season finale of Stranger Things, Master of Puppets. They started going viral on TikTok. It was a huge thing. They got a huge bump on Spotify. They were like in the top 5 most streamed songs in the whole world. Like they were beating out
That's
Drake and
crazy. I
shit.
didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So they got another spike. And so if you frequent the Facebook groups or just online, you'll see, look at the response from like the new album stuff yesterday. They're smart because you'll see all the people that are like, "Oh god, this is so cool. I've only been a fan for 6 months or 8 months, but I can only imagine how long we've been waiting 6 years." Like they're also they're letting themselves be known who's brand new, and it's young people. So I mean, that's why they're
Hmm.
so popular, is they have just bridge generations, and I don't know, even before that, even before the Stranger Things, you can go to a Metallic concert and you see kids. I don't know what this 30 business you're talking about. Now, I went to the Motley Crue
No,
concert.
I'm talking.
That
I'm talking
was
about the people.
old people.
I'm talking about the people that are willing to spend that kind of money.
That's the
And
problem. One thing they're doing
yeah.
though is they're offering discount tickets for 16 and under.
Oh. Okay.
But But maybe that's their goodwill, knowing, hey, we're gonna probably have a spike in young people because of Stranger Things. So they're probably, but you have to show ID. So there's no like getting around manipulating. Well, I'm just gonna buy them and say I'm 16. No. You're gonna have to show ID. You're gonna have to do the whole thing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. The thing is that
Ridiculous.
these are gonna sell out. They're gonna be full, and here's why. Because in January, that's why they're keeping it vague. Like in January, on January 14th or whatever, we're gonna release 1-day tickets, but they'll be limited. Let's say hypothetically, nobody bought these during this like
They would
first
all go
month.
to there. Yeah, single
Yeah.
day.
And
Yeah.
then they're gonna see how many people they can get now.
Yeah.
and then whatever's left, if there is any left, they'll sell them. So they're going to sell out regardless. But it's
kind of like the Blu-ray and 4K markets.
I don't know if it's genius or what it is. From and also from a marketing, the surprise drop of the new album when all this like Stranger Things crap happened and they just exploded in a different demo. I was like, they need to like come out with an album now because right now strike it while it's hot. And they made it seem like they were probably still a year or two out. And then for them to just surprise drop it, I'm like, they knew what they were doing because right now it's perfect because they're off the Stranger Things, right off the heels of the Stranger Things BS. And it's their marketing geniuses, like their management team they're on it, man. They know how to make money. They know how to get their band out there, and they know how to keep them relevant.
Oh, you're gonna say exploit their fans? Yes, that's true.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, part of it is I don't know. Like that's what I'm saying. I wish I could talk to someone like Lars and be like, "Hey," and I wonder if he would have an answer like, "Well, this is a way to combat the scalper." It kind of I could see that, but I don't know if it's gonna back or how it's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna go, and I'm scared about buying tickets in the
They
morning.
have more money than God. I mean, come on, man.
It still costs a lot of money to put on these concerts, though. These
I
these
understand.
tours.
I understand that, but
You gotta.
you can't be doing the 2-day show. That's just still dumb in my opinion.
Well, but like I said, I'm hoping I'll be pleasantly surprised because who knows? Maybe it won't be as bad as I think it is, and maybe like it will pass down on the fans a little bit, where it's like maybe because they're doing it this way and they're doing the bundle prices and they know they're saving money by doing two shows per stop, and maybe it will be not so bad face value. I'll let you know because I'll see the face value tickets tomorrow during the fan club pre-sale, and because when I saw them in Vegas. When I saw them in 2016, they weren't as bad as some people. And then when I got floor tickets, they were still I paid $150 for floor.
Yeah, I
and
did
then
too. That was what, 4 years ago.
I saw them in the stadium $150 and big productions. So the same kind of like thing. And then I saw them in Vegas in February. That's probably going to be my best comparison, but it's really kind of hard to tell because the Vegas show was like a one-off. They weren't doing a full-flown tour that they had to pay for, like a full production. They were just doing one show. So, but I think I might have paid 200 for floor. I don't know. So that's why I'm expecting to pay at least 250 because I think this is going to be a big production. So we'll see. But Helmet in the meantime, Lovesick, Lonesome, and Drifting. Yeah, classic track, man. Was a bit of a game changer. Nobody gives Helmet in the mainstream any credit for popping that down tune groove thing that became real popular later in the 90s. But anyway, that aside, I don't know if it's going to work out to be genius or if it's going to be a big headache for the fans or what, but I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm going to benefit. I feel bad for anybody else, though, because if I didn't live 15 minutes, I didn't live in this city, I'd be bitching. I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit, man. I want to go. They won't let me go because they want me to fucking fight. I can't do it, So I can only imagine. Yeah. So greener pastures, though. All that BS aside, that business BS. Did you did you see any of that new drop stuff? Did you listen to the new track? Did you see the details of the new album?
No, I did see some like production shots, screenshots of them. Like
I,
they look
Todd,
like
we were
what?
talking about Metallica. I would have thought it was a given that you're going to listen to the new song. Damn it!
No, I didn't listen to the new song.
It's 3.5 minutes long.
I'm sorry. You want me to listen to it right now?
I mean, go ahead, listen to it. And you can give us our like, but you can't put it on the stream. Listen to it in your cans, and you can just like commentate over it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Look at this professional here. We're gonna listen to him nod. You can just kind of talk through it if you want. So silly. In the meantime, while Todd's doing his homework, because I do have comment, I wanted to talk about it, so I want your opinions. And it kind of sucks because even if you listen to it, you didn't get to marinate. But that's all right. I'll take your initial reactions and I'll mix it with my marinated for a day reactions. But Lovesick Lonesome, how are you doing, man? Trichopedia, how are you doing? Let me know when you've started it.
All right, give me a second.
Actually, you
Name
should
of
give
the
us your
song?
live commentary, like
What's
talk
the name of
over
the
it.
song?
It's
What?
called Lux Eterna. Just put Metallica Lux Lux. It'll come up.
Okay, here's the official video.
Yeah, just watch
Listen,
that.
is this a live version? Oh,
No,
never
it's
mind.
it's
Okay.
no, it's just a video.
Okay.
Go ahead and feel free to give us some commentary as you're talking. Listen to it.
Oh, my site is muted. Hold on. This just shows you how excited I was to listen to this song.
You doing fair, Lovesick?
I started it.
Okay. What do you guys in the chat? What do you guys think about all this stuff with the ticketing thing? I mean, what do you think the reason is? There multiple reasons for it? Do you think it's going to be a fucking headache or? Todd doesn't think. I'm probably gonna like speed this up in the editing. I'm probably just gonna let you listen to it and just cut out this 3 minutes in the video. Let's give him a couple of minutes to get caught up, everybody. Don't mind me. Make a note. Todd, like more work for me in the editing.
Well, James still sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Definitely a highlight.
Very.
Hold on.
I'll wait till it's. I'll wait till it's done.
You wait till it's done. Lovesick, why are you lost, man? What's going on? And I'm sorry if you're confused by this. I'm letting Todd listen to the song really quick because he didn't listen to the song before we started recorded because I want his opinion. Luckily, the song is only 3 minutes long, so he'll just need another minute and then we'll talk about it. Oh, yeah, you're fucking lost. It's so confusing, man. I don't know what the hell they're thinking. And on one hand, it seems like the ultimate slap. It seems like the ultimate slap in the wrist for more moderate fans. Unless they think there's a positive with the scalping thing, I'd like to hear what their reasoning is behind it. But I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of everybody else where it's not going to benefit because for once I'm going to benefit, not my wallet because I'm going to fucking pay like everybody else, man. It's absolute bullshit. But me personally, as like a huge fan, I love the idea of going to 2 shows, 2 unique set lists, no repeats, and of course seeing fucking Pantera. Forget about it, man. Pantera tribute, whatever you want to call it. Todd's gonna need just another second. Yeah, in the video for next week, I'm just gonna edit this part out. We'll just go straight to it, and I'll just rip into Todd. Yeah, you're happy into the old shit, dude. So are you a big fan? Are you a big fan like me? Because I'll get into it once he's done. I don't want to interrupt him unless he muted me.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna edit this part out. So let me kind of like create a natural breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry about the technical difficulties there. I had to reprimand Todd for not listening to the fucking song. We were talking about Metallica and the new shit. He didn't listen to the 3-minute song. He could not be bothered. We've edited it out. He has inconvenienced me in doing the edit. He has now listened to it, and we are caught up. So before we get into our thoughts, and it's actually kind of interesting. I'm kind of glad you just listened to it because I've gotten the marinade on it, and you got initial thoughts. I want to say before we get into opinions, before I even listen to the song, new Metallica Day is so seldom. It's like a holiday for me, and I'm a fanboy, dude. They're my watch, so I don't follow this or that. So like Metallica is like my sports team, man. I love it, and it's so rare. We deal with 6 to 8 year gaps in between albums, so it's an event, right? And the fact that they didn't even do any like media promotional hype, stupid countdowns or teases, they just cold dropped it on everybody. I woke up yesterday for work at 7 a.m. and my phone exploded with all that stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? I had a weird direction. I was just super on cloud nine all day long, man. It's just like a holiday. And I ate it up, man. I loved it. And so everything from looking at the artwork, it's like I can't wait to always see what the artwork is, and looking at the track listing for the album, the fact, and of course hearing a new song, and then a tour. They just walloped us, and then you add that the Pantera thing, like I said, is huge. Todd and I are big Pantera fans going way back, for us in high school especially. And we had already talked about over the past few months about, oh, how do we coordinate going to see one of these Pantera reunion tribute shows that they're doing, if we can catch one, if they do any like headline dates. So for some people are pissed because it's like, you have these people that maybe just want to go see Pantera, and they're like, now we have this fucking $300 Metallica paywall in front of us. $400. But for me, it's too fun because I was going to go see Metallica regardless, and I get Pantera, and if they're direct support on one of those nights, that's at least an hour. That's at least an hour. And to be fair, Pantera never really played much more than that. A lot of times when you have extreme music and it's a certain type of a style, they don't play very long sets because it gets rather exhausting on the listener. So I don't see Pantera playing longer than an hour and 15 minutes anyway. So I think it's going to be a pretty full set. But Lovesick, I'm so happy into the old shit. He says Pantera Far Beyond got me into metal more than Metallica, but the first music I ever bought was Injustice for All and GNR Lies. I used to love her, but I had to kill her. Big fan of the first four. Then come the album that had skippable songs. We'll get into that because we're going to do the tier list here in a few. But what did you think of the song? And being you just listen to it now, like go over all your little thoughts, your pluses, your minuses, or if they exist, and I'll tell you mine.
I thought it was safe. I thought it was boring. I like Kirk Hammett's solo. I thought that was cool.
That's the thing everybody's shitting on, but okay.
I actually like it. I always love the solo in there. I'd rather listen to Rob Halford try to go high, but I don't know. James didn't pull it off for me on that. I mean, he sounded good. He sounded better, like he's like healthier, but I don't really think he can hit it.
It's very interesting. But, okay.
But overall, I would give it C+.
So it's so funny because I feel like you're ass backwards from everybody. So I think James Hetfield is the fucking highlight. I think his voice is great. I think his voice is evolving. Like he's, dare I say it, kind of doing some pop shit. Like the vocal line is catchy and it's almost like pop weaving. Obviously it's very influenced from the whole new wave of British heavy metal. Wouldn't say, I think he's a highlight, 100%. Another highlight is the production. It's fantastic. It sounds really good. The last album sounded really good too. I think this is probably even better. We're bringing back more of the vocal effects. I love the chorus. I think his high notes sound great. I think he's on fire. The Kirk Hammett, it's kind of what I expected. He seems to he's being this thing where
cameo, which I like. I always like the Kirk cameo.
He just comes off kind of like the last album, like he just improv'd every solo on the spot, like nothing was written out.
I'm not expecting a deep solo with a pop single on this album.
It's also 3.5 minutes long, so I'll definitely reserve for the rest of the album. So I get it. It's a punchy kind of like rock and punk song. Fair enough. But yeah, so the big pros are James Hetfield sounds fantastic. I think Todd's on crack with that one. I think the production sounds amazing. And I get it. The drums sound really great too. However, if I have to be a nitpicker, the drums are probably programmed, like as far as really edited. Like they're just so tight. I mean, maybe that's just me not having faith. I love Lars. People shit on Lars all the time. He gets from point A to point B, and there's no shame in that. He'll play these songs live, but are these songs sound as fucking good as this track does live? Probably not. I bet you they cut and pasted it to shit to get it perfect in the studio. But every band does that now. Unless you're just an absolute fucking stellar madman at your instrument, everybody's going to copy and paste and do whatever they got to do in the studio to make the product good. So that's kind of a slight nitpick, but they sound great. The snare sounds great. And the song itself, I do like the song. It sounds like Motorhead, which I like. And I like how, but obviously, if you're a hardcore fan, everybody's pointing it out. It sounds a lot like Hit the Lights. I mean, it's not the same song, but it's got, because everything they're doing in the song is it's tread ground. Like they're really wearing their influence and their more than Kill 'Em All. It sounds like Garage Days. It sounds like it would have belonged on the Garage Days record. So in a way, it's kind of weird. It sounds like they're covering themselves, covering other artists, which is kind of fucking weird. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it does give you Hit the Lights vibes. And then especially, I think it's the bridge part of the song. One of the riffs is very close, right? Hit Lights. It does
far superior in this crap.
But anyway, they start kind of the same riff. But then they take it somewhere else, but it just gives you like crazy vibes to Hit the Lights. And I think most people like that. We could explore even more new ground without it, but I don't think the rest of the album is going to sound like this. It's just like Hardwired, where you first heard the song from when that song came out. That was the first song they released. It wasn't the first like radio song they put out, but it was the same thing. It comes in with the like this sounds like
Hardwire's way better than this song, in my opinion.
Hardwired sounded like when I first heard it, it's like, oh, Holier Than Thou, right? A little bit. It echoes Holier Than Thou, and it even kind of echoes Enter Sandman with the breakdown riff a little bit without being the same, but it just gives you those echoes. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing or not, but this makes me think of Kill 'Em All. Anyway, but Hardwired, the rest of the album didn't sound like Hardwired. It was all over the place. Like there was some 90s era Metallica stuff in there. You had it was all over the map. I think this is going to be the same way. And
don't you think it's a little too polished though?
I missed it. What do you mean polished? No, I think it's good. I missed it.
Oh, okay.
I liked Hardwired because Hardwired, the production stayed up from Death Magnetic, which was too clippy, too raw, too hot. It was this one, and then Hardwired came out like, oh, it sounds good again. The mix sounds great. The band sounds great. The only thing I was saying was like, I kind of wish they would do more with his vocals, like the Black Album and Low, like more vocal effects and but this, I think they're doing it. You have that crazy reverb and a chorus effect on it. I think it's great. I kind of missed it. That's why I kind of think it sounds like it belongs on the Garage Inc. record. And I'm cool with it. I wanted it to sound like this. And also of note, kind of goes back to the Kill 'Em All thing. The song is in the key of A. Most of their songs are in the key of E. Almost all of them, except for songs like Hit the Lights, right? Riding that A string, because it never gets heavy. It's kind of like a Motorhead kind of rocking song. And the last album had a track like that too. You had Atlas Rise, also in the key of A. So it kind of instantly gives that Kill 'Em All feel, because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, before those two songs, the last time they were in the key of A was like Hit the Lights, the first song on Kill 'Em All. So instantly gives that retro vibe. But listen, Rob Vaughn, what's up, man? He's saying, I only know Metallica's big songs. Lovesick is suggesting to listen to Orion. I agree. And yeah, Lovesick loves Judas Priest. Yeah, I think people that love Judas Priest are gonna like this new song. It's got that classic new wave of British heavy metal sound, not breaking new ground, doesn't sound new, but I think a lot of people like that. I don't know, but I think in the way it does kind of sound new is the vocals. I like it. I'm kind of here for it. I think it's cool. Do I like it better than Hardwired? Maybe a smidge, but I think it's probably on par. They kind of remind me of each other because they both came out. They weren't Hardwire was not the radio song. That was more like Moth and a Flame or whatever.
Moth and Flame,
but
yeah.
They released both these songs are the debut like song, and they're both 3.5 minutes long. They're very short, snappy to the punch. Even down to Kirk Hammett having a little. Even the videos are similar, except this one has more lasers in the video. But it's really funny. But I gotta say, I'm eager to hear the rest of it because I'm excited about it. The song, I don't know. I'm probably more or less in the realm of Hardwired, where it's like, okay, have the similar effect. I think I like it just a little bit better than Hardwired, though. But we'll see, though. I'm excited. I'm always stoked for a new Metallica record, for better or worse. And did you look at really quick? Pull up the. Did you look at the album title and the list and the art and stuff? What's your opinion on that?
No, let me look that up.
Robert's asking, did we ever listen to Filter? They were alternative rock, though. Yeah, man. Short Bus and
Oh yeah,
title of record, right? Hey Man, Nice Shot. Obviously, they were big with that in the mid '90s. And then they had title of record with Take My Picture and all that stuff. And I actually liked the Take My Picture. I actually had both those records growing up. I don't really revisit them anymore, though. I think that was kind of a flavor of a year or whatever. But I'm pretty sure if I put on Short Bus right now, I'd be like, oh, yeah, that was back in the day when everybody was trying to be offshoots of Nine Inch Nails. And I know the connection between Richard Patrick and Nine Inch Nails. He was on the Pretty Hate Machine tour and all that. I get the connection. But they blew up. And so in the 90s, you had this wave of industrial rock acts like Gravity Kills, Stabbing Westward, Filter, and they all had varying degrees of success. But, and I think it's only been in my later years that I've kind of grown to appreciate a little bit of Nine Inch Nails. I've always liked Pretty Hate Machine. I think that's an album that's fucking great. It's a great album. They kind of got a little too out there for me after that, but
yeah.
right,
This album artwork's pretty weird.
But you know what? I almost come to expect it because they release albums so seldom, where it's like, what do I expect? I kind of and when you think about it, this is only their 10th studio album. I'm pretty sure, if my math's not off, not counting live releases, and I don't think if you count Garage Inc. But they've never had a yellow theme, so like this is their yellow record, so it kind of fits. But if you look at all their other releases, they were all kind of weird and on their own island. When you look at like the Load and Reload, can you imagine that? After Black Album, you have the come and blood and piss and blood in between plexiglass and shit. It's just
that's definitely unique.
It's all unique. This one, it's called 72 Seasons. I mean, some people were confused by that title. It wasn't that hard for me to figure out. Like I literally just went into a calculator and put, well, 4 seasons a year. How many? 18 years. The theme of the album is basically the first 18 years of your life. And the first 18 years of your life. And James Hetfield went on record talking about, I mean, I'm not going to paraphrase him, but you can kind of get an idea on the cover there. It's like and you see like, I think there's a beer can on the floor. There's like dumbbells. There's a guitar that's broken. There's like a teddy bear, whatever. It's fun. It's striking. It's just one of those things you kind of grow into. What about the track lists? The track titles too. Every time Metallica puts out a new album in the last few albums, 4 albums, it just always like, wow, these don't sound like Metallica title tracks until they do. But that's only because we don't get that many Metallica albums. And my whole life, I feel like when I was getting into Metallica in the mid 90s, early to mid 90s, I had already had the classic albums. When I first getting like, oh, so I've had those first 5 records basically almost my entire cognizant life. So I'm always going to compare them to those. But really, I probably would have had the same impression when Load came out, like House That Jack Built, 2x4. This doesn't sound like Master of Puppets, right?
Shadows Fall, Screaming Suicide.
Shadows Follow, dude.
Oh, Shadows Follow. Yeah, sorry.
Not the.
Why was I think Shadows Fall? Is that a band?
Yeah, I don't think the title tracks sound bad. I think they sound kind of interesting. Screaming Suicide. That sounds like a fucking Slayer song. Go ahead and read the rest of them because I don't have it in front of me. I'll pull it up.
Sleepwalk My Life Away. You Must Burn. Exclamation point.
That sounds like a Mustaine song, dude. Yeah. I love it, dude. You Must Burn. There's Lux Eterna, which is
Crown of Barbed Wire.
Lux Eterna is Latin. Hold on. Lux Eterna is Latin for eternal light. Yeah, Crown of Barbed Wire. I mean, that's fine. Like, I feel like anybody could have that. I feel like COC could have that title. It sounds fine.
If Chasing Light had a son, that's like an Ozzy track, dude.
Kinda. Too Far Gone. Too Far Gone. Room of Mirrors straight up sounds like a Meshuggah song, dude. I think it's an awesome title. I wonder what that's going to be. And I wonder if they're going to have a instrumental, because they didn't have an instrumental on the last album. I feel like Room of Mirrors could be like, that sounds like an instrumental to me, but we'll see. I wonder why they're not splitting this one. On the last album, they split onto 2 CDs, like a double record, just
Mhm.
to maximize sound quality. They didn't do it for this one, even though it's literally like 2 minutes shorter and it's got the same amount of songs. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, but and Inamorata, I had to look that up too. I think that's Latin as well, and it's Latin for basically your female significant other, female lover, whatever. So maybe that's about the divorce. I don't know, but anyway,
Divorce. Who got
I'm
divorced?
intrigued.
James?
James, yeah, he's in the middle of a divorce.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's about time you realize you can do better. That's kidding, dude.
Yeah, you.
Oh god. Like, please, James, I'm here. I'm waiting. I'm gaping for you. I'm ready. No.
Ready to see the
Eh,
scars.
okay. Let's see. Robert, I've gone back to the 90s and 2000s new metal or butt rock that some people make fun of.
I do too,
New
Robert.
I don't like the butt rock, but new metal has had a resurgence, man. And I think a lot of people that are getting to be my age, late 30s and all that stuff, or maybe even into their 40s, they're going through a period of nostalgia, a renaissance where now they're going back to what they listened to maybe for a hot minute or a couple of years in high school in their glory days. And it's fun to relive that stuff. Just like it's fun to go down memory lane with anything else. And it's fun to go back, even though I've outgrown a lot of that stuff. It's fun to go back and see what stuff holds up. Like I went.
I was
Go
listening to
ahead.
Linkin Park Hybrid Theory. That holds up, man. That is an awesome album.
Never. I didn't get that on the sales because I've never been a Linkin Park guy. I'm like, no, thanks.
I was for like maybe a year or so back in high school when that first came out, that first dropped, and that's a great album, man.
Their
Sounds good
influence
too.
is undeniable. It's not for me. Like, dude, every band, even today, like, because you're getting all these kids that grew up on Linkin Park with bands today, right? 20, bands that were, think about it. It's the timing's right. 22 years ago, 21 years ago. And there's so many people that are like, yeah, we're kind of Linkin Park and half. Yeah, it's all everywhere and you hear it. But it was never my thing. But you kind of see what stands the time and what doesn't. And like, for example, I pretty big into Stone Temple Pilots, and I listened to those records, and I'm like, these are still great records, but I kind of
Yeah, they are.
outgrew it. But it's fun. It's fun to go back and listen to Core and Purple and Tiny Music and all that stuff. And I'm like,
Core's the
these
best. Core's the only one worth listening to. Even though I have the other one, Purple, as well, but
Purple's better in my opinion. I love Core. Purple is better than Core. I think Tiny Music is great too, even though that was the one that was harder to get into after Purple because it's just a little bit more avant-garde. But I think that's got Tiny Music isn't as good as Purple, for example, but it's got 2 of their best songs. Like better than they got probably 2 songs on that record that are better than anything on Purple. And Volume 4, it's got a couple of good songs, but it's never really got into that one. Or number 4, I'm sorry. And then I actually liked the last album of theirs I bought back in the day was the, what do you call it? Why can't I fucking think of it? What's that album with the orange album? Why can't I think of it? I can't think of it. But the one
is it like a
one with
sun?
Days of the one with Days of the Week on it. No, it's got like a face on it. I don't know why I can't. Shangri-La Da. That's what it is. Shangri-La Da.
I don't remember that
I it's a mellow record, but I liked it anyway. But I still acknowledge, like, you know what? But I kind of outgrew this. I go back and I listen to Korn, Follow the Leader, and I'm like, dude, no wonder this was huge. This album is awesome.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, this is a great record, man. It sounds phenomenal. It was ahead of its time, and it just, I totally get it. I listen to it now and I enjoy it. I'm like, dude, these songs are good. And it's kind of fun, even attaching it to all the dated stuff, knowing that they were in that recording booth, whatever, wearing fucking Puma baggy track pants and goggles and shit and like glittery jackets, and they had braids. I don't care. I'm here for all of it. It's kind of fun.
Even
But
Limp Bizkit. I mean, Hybrid Theory.
yeah,
Fantastic.
I mean, people make fun of Limp Bizkit. They've kind of had a weird resurgence in the last year, but anybody that makes fun of Limp Bizkit or really, really made fun of Limp Bizkit in the last 20 years, they loved them back in the day. It doesn't matter what they're telling you, because Significant Other, dude, it sounds great. I could listen to Skin Forever right now, and yeah, it's cheesy. Fred Durst is hokey. He's a cornball, but sonically, the album sounds awesome. It sounds really good. So I don't know. Some of it really holds, but
Creed,
the
that's
butt
another
stuff,
one.
I fucking hate that. That's the butt
I
rock he's talking about. I'm sure.
I like Creed, dude.
Creed's terrible. I don't know what you're smoking, dude.
Oh, they're fans. Scott
It's the
Stapp
most
is awesome, dude.
It's the most pretentious Christ complex rock you could
Oh,
ever listen
it's
to.
great, dude. I love like
I
I hated it growing up, and
those
now I love it.
videos
It's cheesier than
videos
hell,
for like
dude.
My Sacrifice and Higher, dude. Like him
Yeah,
throwing his like Michael Jackson throwing his
it's
fucking
so
shirt
cheesy,
buttons
but it's
open.
great. Yeah,
It's
and it's catchier than hell,
terrible.
man.
I during those Walmart sales, man, I could have bought the first album for $15. I'm like, I'm not buying this
Now in
shit.
prison,
I'll buy
I would have picked that
no,
up.
I would have bought it just to like take a video and burn it in front of you. Like this sucks, dude. I don't know, but it's just not
There's a
for
lot
me.
of
But
toe
you know why? But
tappers.
it's because I'm not saying that some of those songs aren't catchy, and if there is any catchy songs, it is on the first record. You know, One in My Own
Human Clay is
Prison.
a lot too.
No, anyway, terrible. But I'll tell you though, the thing that really kills that band, if anything, is just how disingenuous it all felt. It all felt so disingenuous. I listened to that band and I'm like, I none of this sounds legitimate to me. I think Scott Stapp sounds like a fucking asshole.
I love Scott Stapp. He's hysterical, man. The guy's
His
out of his mind, but
I
I
don't
love
like
him.
how every time he was on camera, dude, he was like, I fucking you. Give me just like fuck me look. I hate it, man.
Oh,
I should get Fred Durst mixed up with Robert Durst. Robert says I like the Creed's hits. Sorry, Aaron. Oh, so Robert
yes.
likes the Creed's.
Thanks, Robert.
He says used to, dude.
Hey, go back to him. Give him a chance, man. You might spark something back up.
Why? If I didn't like something back then, why would I go back to it?
Oh, I was talking to Robert.
Oh, okay. My mom was obsessed with Creed. I
Oh,
heard
she
those
was.
songs. Oh,
Okay.
she went to the concert, man. Her and my dad went to the concert. I remember she saw Creed and Collective Soul and this one minor radio hit wonder, Full Devil Jacket, dude, opening when they had like a song on the radio. They went to the Civic Center. Remember the Civic?
Yeah.
Yeah, they saw them there. And like literally, my mom says, and she came home talking about how cool it was. Like it was a cool thing. And I'm just thinking, that sounds terrible. But then she's like, yeah. He's like, oh, they had a great stage presence. And when they came on stage, Scott Stapp came out of the floor. I'm like posing like he's MJ, dude, coming out of the floor like a smoke machine. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds fucking horrendous.
Oh, that'd be awesome. He was like on wires, like going across the crowd, dude.
That sounds terrible. What is he? Sammy Hagar, dude? Dreams, dude, singing Higher, dude. Because that's what Sammy Hagar would do.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think Dave Lee Roth would do it too and stuff. I don't know, man. It's just it's kryptonite for me. But respect if you happen to have bad taste. Anyway. And
Hey, I
I
can admit that I have bad taste. I like what I like, man. I don't give a crap.
Oh,
what anybody else
I
likes.
have stuff too. I'm not ashamed of what I like either, but
Yeah.
it's all in good fun. I'll shit talk the stuff I don't like either. It's
Yeah,
fun.
that's fine.
I like stuff that if you heard I liked it, somebody be like, you were just shit talking Creed, but you like that. Explain yourself. Like I can't. I just. But like some people might not be able to think that a band like Live is any different than Creed. To be honest with you, I love Live. That Throwing Copper.
Live, that's amazing album.
Throwing Copper is the greatest alt 90s record. If you
It's
kind of
fantastic.
if you exclude bands like Pearl Jam that kind of survived the 90s and stuff, bands that like kind of existed in relevancy and not, dude, it doesn't get much better than even their first album, Mental Jewelry, fantastic. But you know, Throwing Copper, pinnacle. And they're you know, their records after that too, like Secret Samadhi and Distance.
Yeah,
From Here.
those weren't bad. Those records.
No, they were fine, but they peaked. Throwing Copper is just front to back. It's amazing. And I love Ed Kowalczyk. And I love how they were an alt rock band. But I think Ed Kowalczyk almost has a country singing voice. If you really think about it, if you just listen to it, that twang, it's like he'd be a really good country singer. But
we have enough of those. They never toured, did they? I saw them one time. I saw them in a baseball stadium before like a College World Series game. They did like a little stage show, and you can barely hear them, which sucked. But yeah, I've never seen them like come around like doing live shows.
Yeah, well, the thing is I think we kind of missed their heyday of that.
Yeah, but a lot of these bands are coming back just to make extra bucks.
Yeah, but back in the day, like Throwing Copper, that was kind of before our time of going to concerts. We're talking about 1994. So we were
Yeah.
too young. By the time we were in high school, they were coming out with I Will Overcome. Fucking the
Oh God.
9/11 song.
Yeah, yeah.
Dirty water, dirty
I
water.
forgot about that one. I'm gonna have to listen to that tonight.
I like when he's like, holy water in my lungs. Oh, God.
You sing it.
But I love that song. But anyway, they kind of like petered out after that, and then they kind of broke up, and they got a new singer, and there's a whole bunch of crap. But anyway, Robert Vaughn says he's been listening to Candlebox lately. Far Behind is a dope song. Far Behind. I have a huge nostalgia for all those alt rock radio staples, right? That they played Candlebox, Far Behind, and they were part of that wave of second wave Pearl Jams, right? It's like, hey, Pearl Jam's huge. Let's start
Told the
signing all those
West
bands.
Sprocket. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
and Candlebox of Space, especially, really tapping into that Eddie thing, and that was a
Screaming
catchy song.
Trees.
Screaming Trees, they were around before Pearl Jam.
Yeah, that's true. What day, I saw the new, or not the new. I saw Days of the New were coming out with.
That's
That's a great. They have some great albums.
Yeah, so I still have that album, and I don't like the album, but the singles are great. All like Touch Stand Peel and Shelf in the Room,
Yeah,
and they had a on their second album Enemy. Like the songs that were on the radio are great. The album just kind of like, I don't know, nothing really stands out, but those are great songs. But yeah, Candlebox was part of that whole thing. Far
Silverchair.
Behind, I appreciated Far Behind because it had a really easy little guitar solo, and it was easy to kind of learn that. It's not much to it, but it's catchy. And what was another song? Um, who else was in that? You Silverchair? Is that what you just said? Silverchair?
I said Silverchair.
Yeah, Silverchair was definitely one of those bands.
Australian rock.
Yeah, Australian, Daniel Johns. Yeah, I know all that shit. Yeah, I don't know. But there was a lot of that stuff, and it was all catchy. I liked as far as the bands that we were obsessed with, like, when you were in high school or when you're in middle school and you're really developing like your tastes and stuff like that, when you find, it's just like the episode of Pete and Pete where he was in search for his band. Like everybody's got a band. I want my band. And he found this garage band in his town that was basically, I think, singing like the theme song.
I love that song. And
yeah. Deranged.
That's a great song, dude.
That's so 90s. That's so 90s.
Yeah.
It's gonna go by, yeah, it's in me. Yeah. Anyway, that's how we felt though, because I had my band was Metallica since born. I was born the year of Master of Puppets. I literally was hearing it from the womb, and I never not heard it coming out. So I remember the hype of the Black Album when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old. I remember all that stuff just being everywhere, being in the car, being at home, everywhere. So it's just kind of always been ingrained in me. So they were there. But in high school, aside from them, it was Alice in Chains. They were my band, and I got taught into them, which is great. And I think it was so funny, man, how kids used to gatekeep, myself included.
Oh God, you were the worst at it, man.
It's such a dumb concept when you get older. Like, wait, I don't understand. Like, why wouldn't I want more people to like what I like? It doesn't make any sense. And I'm pretty sure the artist would love that people are gatekeeping. Like, no, please share our music. Like, you think Jerry Cantrell wanted to see just me at a show? Hi, Jerry, it's me again. Like, nobody else? Aaron, you have to tell all your friends. Tell all your friends, Aaron. My career depends on you. But when you find something that you connect with, you think it's sacred and special, and you don't want it to get polluted and tainted, and you want to keep it as pure as possible. I think that's the weird effed up mentality about it, but it's really stupid. It's dumb. And but they were a big one for me. I think Todd, dude, in high school, I know I'm speaking for him. I'd say his bands, besides the bands I got him into too, Pearl Jam when I first met him, then Dave Matthews. That was your bands.
Pearl Jam and Dave Matthews were my two I listened to all the time. I think I saw Dave Matthews like 7 times total, and he was actually
right.
He was actually here in my neck of the woods 2 weeks ago, and his tickets were like $15, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to go see him.
Well, it's because
Like
he plays the
I grew out of him too. So
he plays the sheds, so it's like when he plays those amphitheaters, those tours are great because those amphitheaters and shit, they'll always give out like, oh, we have $15 lawn seat day, or like,
yeah.
oh, we got the 2-for-1 day. And that doesn't matter. I don't care if you're seeing
No, this is
Slipknot
an
at the amphitheater.
arena.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like
Oh, I just
they
know you saw.
couldn't give the tickets away. But
Oh, that's
I don't know.
interesting. What?
Yeah.
Well, I'm shocked that he still has the fan base he does, because it's like he seems like such a '90s relic, but he does have he's still around.
Well,
He
they made
does
the
his
resurgence
thing.
back in the early 2000s, and then it seemed like they blew up again around then. And then towards the end of the 2000s, like the 2010s, they kind of fell apart. Or not, some of their albums are just not as good. And then a few of the band members died, so it just never was the
I
same.
remember after I can't remember, the one guy died. They came out with Big Whiskey and the Gru Gru King, and they
That was a
dedicated
good
to him.
album. I
That was
like
the
that
one
album a
that
lot.
one album of the year at the Grammys. So they had a bit of a
Yeah.
resurgence like commercially with that. And then I haven't heard anything from him since
No.
then. And that was in like 2008.
Yeah,
But
and then I think their violin player Leroy Moore died too, which he was a very big
they
influence on the band. So
very good stage presence.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I was huge into them and huge into Pearl Jam, and I was trying to discover what I liked, and this was like right when new metal was, Slipknot just released their first album.
Yeah.
A funny story about that is I didn't know shit about Slipknot. I was in Best Buy looking at all the CDs. I think it was back in '99 when that album first came out, and I was looking through the CDs, and then one of the guys who actually worked there came up to me. Well, no, he didn't come up to me. He was talking to the guy next to me, telling him like, he's like, dude, you need to check out this band, blah blah blah, and it actually got me to buy the CD. So I was like, oh, what's the big deal about this? So I got it, and I listened to it, and I was blown away, man. I
So
was like, oh,
exciting. So such an exciting experience back then though, where if you
yeah.
wanted to hear something, you had to buy the CD. You couldn't just like pull up your phone and listen to Spotify or YouTube clip. That was exciting. Or if you were at a Sam Goody, you could listen. Remember you had like the listening stations? You could listen to
Oh,
the
which I
very
wanted to
cool.
talk about this too. Yeah, Blockbuster Music. We used to have one here,
Hmm.
and we used to go into those. And Blockbuster Music was the type of store where you can grab a CD, and then like they have this like big ring or whatever with different pods, and you hand it
Hmm.
to the disc jockey or the guy behind there, and he opens it up, and then he puts it in the CD player right in front of you, so you can sit there and listen to the music before you buy it. Of course, we never bought it. We just wanted to listen to the music. And
Hmm.
then once, if you didn't want the music, they would put them in a plastic sleeve, put it back on the shelf. So I love Blockbuster
Did
Music,
you
man. It was awesome.
did you ever at any point ever call a radio station and request a song?
Oh yeah, all the
I
time.
did too. Yeah. And of course I would like call and I'd request like the newest Metallica song or something. And it was
Yeah, yeah.
always like, and I it usually went my way, but like I remember there'd be more than a few times where they'd be like, "Oh, well, we just played that 10 minutes ago. I don't know if we could play it. We have to wait another, a little bit." But yeah, that
45
was really
minutes.
cool,
Yeah.
man. That was really cool calling the stations. But another equivalent to that, if you were like young, for me, the place to go in the '90s was like Skateland,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
everybody hung. And you go to the DJ, whoever was doing the
Hmm.
music for the skating in his little booth, and you do requests. I
Yeah.
would go up all the time, like, "Hey man, do you have this? Can you play this?" And I remember, man, some of the kids that I'd be hanging with or whatever, I remember this one guy, total Hesher, long hair. He was just, at the time seemed like an old man to me, but he was probably like 19,
Yeah.
probably just some like high school kid or college kid. And he was playing like Chumbawamba and whatever was big at the time, Wallflowers, but you could tell he didn't like it. And I say, "Hey man, you got any Metallica?" I was that kid, just like, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh man, I got all of them, man." He's like, and he pulled out a CD book. He had all of them. He's a huge fan. He's like, "What do you want to hear, brother?" I was like, "Can I listen to Damage Inc?" Being like fucking 10 years old, dude. All the kids I was with, my friend, they hated it. Like, why do you listen to shit? They want to hear some rock. They want to hear some Backstreet Boys, dude. Like, what is this?
It's funny because the same thing happened when we went to like one of the school like winter dances. Remember
Oh
doing
yeah,
that? And you used to go around asking for Metallica, and he's like, "I'm not playing that."
yeah. For the
Or like
dance,
you
I
wrote it
know.
on like a piece of paper, you handed it in. Oh, we handed it
Yeah.
on like Alice in Chains, Metallica, just like they never wanted to play any of it.
Our buddy Travis was trying to get him to play Schism and shit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a dance floor to Schism, dude?
Ugh,
Fucking 10
horrible.
minute long. Dun, dun, dun,
Well, it's a
dun,
great song, but
dun.
it's not a dance song. I mean, that's We were dumb, dude.
Funny, man. I'm like, what you mean? Why don't you? He was cool, but anyway, so this is a good opportunity to roll into our next topic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end it here, guys. And for anybody still listening, stick around for a second, and then we're going to go into our tier list. I'm just going to end it for purposes of the video and splitting it up for YouTube. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this one. Please like the video. Leave comments, man. Let us know what you were all about in your high school, middle school years. What bands were your gateways? Were you guilty of gatekeeping? Right? It's like maybe you were super into, I don't know, who were bands that came after our time? I don't even know. Were you guys into that Crazy Bitch song? Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's probably some like kids in middle school 15 years ago listening to Buck Cherry or like Papa Roach or something like that. But let us know. Like I said, follow us on free feeds. We're on everywhere, all our podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube. Follow us on twitch.tv/Revival House. If you want to support us, all our links for Patreons and things like that are down below. And we'll catch you guys next time. Adios.